Start things off with Hanamori yesterday, then Temple of Anubis. And then we come into Volskaya now. So only a few more that we have to get through. Horizon, I'm sure, will get picked eventually.
Yeah, one day. Well, we'll be the GC Busan Wave defense here. And already MVP Space is showing us the double sniper tank run. Don't know if it'll end up being true or not, but there's a high chance that we'll at least see the Hanzo. Attune may flex over to the Brigida if they really want to continue to run this. It's a little bit tougher to pull off on point A, as I was saying earlier, though, because of the wide area to which Alpha Yi and Edison are going to have to operate. So sticking with the double sniper, a lot more flexibility this way than trying to run the Brigida to shove it through, so I like this a lot more. But it's going to be a challenge to get them onto a place where they can do damage. If they take the left side approach, they can eventually force the high ground for the Widow. They want to make sure that Yaki and Attune are in two separate locations, if possible, so that they can maximize their line of sight and how much damage they can do. That's why Attune's hanging back right now, whereas Yaki could do more damage to the tanks who's up in the front.
Yeah, waiting for the rest of his teammates to get the distraction here, pull their attention away from the Widowmaker, and that's exactly what just happened. You can see there Attune finding the snipe onto Alpha Yi, takes him down. Edison onto the high ground at the moment, still just trying to poke away, but they're giving up the first tick, and Attune finds another one as Daydream goes down. Now no tank up front, just going to be Ritz left alive, and you can see GC Busan Wave just going to be surrendering this one in the end, as Edison does find one kill.
He's trying to do his best Fleta impression. He's like, I can't do it alone. Well, you know, you called it right before it happened. The tank push there distracts and draws the attention away of the Widow, and so Attune is able to win the Widow matchup from afar. This is some shenaniganry we're seeing here. Alpha Yi is going to try to dive down onto the supports.
Man. Just look up.
They don't see him. He's going to reveal himself now.
Yeah. Dashes away.
I like the switch, given that they know there's no Brigida on the side of MVP Space with this push right now.
Could always see one swapped. Both Attune and Yaki have played it, though Attune probably a bit more adept at it. Undyne going to get taken down, and Alpha Yi finds Q, so no supports available here for MVP Space. Since she's going to have to be the abandoned here on this push as everybody else kites back to safety. But 6 minutes, 18 seconds on the clock, and Attune.
We're going to find out if they want to switch now to the Brigida or if they want to wait for the grab combo, because they're at 80% of that grab, and they do have the Dragon Strike. Looks like they want to get that off.
I think if anything, swap the Widow, run the... Oh, okay. So yeah, it's going to be a Pharah actually coming in instead of a Brigida.
We'll see if they want to run this long term. I mean, they do have 6 minutes to work with, so that's the cool thing about grabbing A this quickly is you have the opportunities to run, you know, 3 different compositions basically if you want to and find success.
My concern about this is, you know, a more open map makes sense. The Hanzo not going to be that great at taking out the Pharah, but in a more contained environment like this where you're actually fighting inside could be a bit rough. Dragon Strike out from Edison.
This
breaks them low. Yeah, Bianca going to get shredded down. Ion jumping forward, able to finish him off, and now the kill is just going to spill forth here for GC Busan. And they're even just racking up some ult meters here at the same time as they get that team wipe.
You mentioned the choke point. It was so well done with the Dragon Strike because he basically placed it behind them as the GC Busan Wave was kind of collapsing in. Once we saw Oberon go basically down to 0 health, they knew they could just come in there and win the trades with the dive because the tanks had more health. This is where they can use the grab Dragon Strike combo though. And this is going to be the scariest moment on the defense for GC Busan Wave. They have the Transcendence, and that's the big key here. They have a lot of ways to delay. So they're not really worried about this getting eaten by Ritz, but they're just trying to make sure they can get value.
Attune going to get taken down. Edison finds that shot. Like I said, much more contained environment makes it an easier target.
Yeah.
Snipe out of the sky, so he will go down. I wonder, are we going to be seeing a swap? Maybe just waits for a barrage. They still have 4.5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, they're basically at the big 6, you know, with that barrage, like you were saying. And the crux of this is just a big wombo combo. But GC Busan has all the tools, so MVP Space relying on this still. But look at the positioning. It's so tough to get this grab off. The split is real for GC Busan Wave. Here's the blade shut down.
It's going to be Alpha Yi getting taken out. Yaki. And then Hanzo comes up with the kill. A Dragon Strike flies through, however. You'll see Undyne popping the Transcendence, trying to keep everybody alive. Dueling Zenyatta's coming through there as Fielder pops his own. Self-destruct comes in, and Yaki finds 2 with that Dragon Strike. And now they can push forward. The barrage ready to go. Doesn't need it yet. Can just hold on to it. As the members of GC Busan get ready to push in onto the point. Alpha Yi swapping over to that Rhine. In desperation, will get taken out immediately. Ritz goes up into the air. Barrage coming down Attune. Finds one, but Edison takes him out with his Storm Arrows at the same time. Ritz popped out of the mech, will get taken out. Undyne finding that final blow, and Oberon just rolling over Edison. This should just about be it. They get the Earth Shatter in. They take him down in 3.5 minutes, 3:34 on the clock. MVP space to the completion.
They had the tools to make this work, and they were patient with how it was used. The jumping the gun there of the really quick Dragon Blade that came out was, I think, what really cost them big. Alpha E was trying to make sure that they could shut the combo down by killing members early, like going in and trying to prevent that combo. But he died instantly, and that basically just meant everybody was like, all right, well, it's time to win this fight. You know, they used the Dragon Blade, we instantly killed them, and let's commit to this fight. They go all in because if they get the wipe, they have a comp that's impossible to break and retake with what GC Busan was running and with the ults they had. If they fail, they might end up with a tick. Worst case, they still have 4 minutes on the clock to switch up their composition. So I respect the patience that MVP Space had to just wait. Sure, Yaki got picked off a few times, didn't get the didn't get the barrage as quickly as he would have liked to. So in another scenario where they had maybe 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes after point A, it would have looked pretty rough. But because they had such a large time bank, I respect that they were patient, they slow played it. Now they end up with double, great time banks. They had the A bank that led to a 3:34 finishing time here. Scary time here for GC Busan Wave now. A titan of a time bank to come up against. Going to have to be incredibly efficient. We see Alpha E on the Roadhog. No Lucio locked in at the moment. So not going to be running the exact same style of play as we saw in Blizzard World. Very much a more open map here on point A compared to Blizzard World as well. So a little bit tougher to force your way in because there's also not that kind of safety room where you can approach this where it's impossible to contest. Will be Yaki on the Brigitte though, perhaps expecting a Genji opening, but it will not be true.
Yeah, just wants a tune on that Widow. As the hit scan player pushing forward, taking that body shot. Attune's just going to be cutting back around the back left side of the point. Now pushes back up to the mid ground.
Nice angle here for Attune as well.
Yeah, tag in onto Edison, but not going to be finding any skulls. Undyne gonna fall. Looking for the trade here onto the Zenyatta's. Hasn't gotten it yet, but Yaki going in a bit deep in the pocket is available from Daydream. Healers aren't up front for the rest of the squad though, and Fielder's still gonna get taken down. Yaki comes up with that kill. Meantime, Ritz falling low, nearly out of that mech. Seems like will get popped out in the end as Attune takes him down and finishes off the Baby Diva. No ticks yet onto the point here for the side of GC Busan, and Edison will get taken out. Attune, he has arrived.
Yaki's going to make the switch after dying as well because he knows there's no Genji on the other side. This is a 1v1 they're not going to win.
And he has exited. He goes down to Ion, comes forward, gets rid of that pesky Widowmaker. Now they can drop down in onto the point, get this cap rolling through. So looking like a very significant time bank for GC Busan.
They can contest though. They can contest one more time. They will. Bianca's going to lead the charge on this. Oberon actually going to the back line.
Yeah, and Discord orbs up, so he'll go down. I think that he can still try to just strain the clock down as much as possible, but chance of a success here to be slim pickings. Primal Rage going to get used. Ion smacks down Undyne. There's no healers left available, and Bianca was already out of the mech, so a couple seconds really going to be drained off the clock. GC Busan still going to be well over 6 minutes here on this attack.
Yeah. The res was not available there, or well, they killed Fuse. Actually, Fielder killed Fuse, so they couldn't res when Oberon went in. That was the idea, maybe get the res off there, win at least an even trade to continue to contest and buy more time, but 3 minutes that are basically 2.5 minutes will have to be burned through to make this an even time bank for MVP Space. Alfie on the Widow now trying to find an angle. Zion disrupts the backline. The Tracer pick is really cool for this because you are always threatening. It's a little bit less safe now to just kind of force your way forward. This is an interesting Dragon Strike.
Yeah, Dragon Strike going in onto the side angle. Not going to be finding a whole lot. Bianca does go dangerously low. Has the self-destruct if he wants to toss that one out, but seems like he might just be holding on to it for now. Nope. Did use it, just couldn't hear it in the headset, so makes it back into the mech, but might just be getting shredded out of it yet again. Alpha E getting jumped on, he gets healed up as the Transcendence comes down from Fielder. Pokes around the corner, looking for a target. Hooped back in onto the point by the Primal Rage. Oberon, he's angry, but Alpha E, he's just so slippery. He jumps away, keeps himself alive. The same cannot be said for Ion.
Nope, not going to be the same to be said as you say. trying to trade up here. They get the D-Mac. This is an opportunity. They're actually going to be able to get onto the point as well. Valkyrie's out.
Working their way through, but Attune finds another kill. Rez getting ready to come down. Will bring Edison back in. Attune looking for the follow-up shot. Can't quite get it.
This is
now
really
has
close.
to be worried about the enemy Widowmaker, but never mind. Just going to go ahead and shut down Alpha Yi. Attune on fire.
Yeah, Attune is just really carrying this right now. The res on the Ion was Ion's respawn, I should say, was concerning. As the res bought enough time, they got Edison back up, and then Ion rejoined, and it was a scary moment there. But Attune hits the headshots because Ion was on his way back, wasn't there to help peel. Ritz was off to the side, so Attune just had perfect line of sight, and he just did not miss his shots. And as you can see, he's on fire in game, and yeah, he totally set this up. MVP Space very close to evening up the time bank here on defense now. Yaki looking for a pick onto the supports.
Short orb in, he's gonna go to the backside, there's that pulse pump, but not gonna be finding anything for it, so a bit of a waste there as Alpha dashes through to try to get rid of that Tracer. Won't be able to do so, but a lot of damage going in onto Edison, who's already halfway up to another pulse bomb. Ritz going forward, self-destruct available, will throw that one down, but might not make it back into the mech. Seems like he cuts around the corner, will be able to do so, doesn't find any pickoffs outside of Overon, but he'll be rezzed back into the fight as MVP looks to hold them off. Time bank is nearly in their favor here as Daydream gets taken down. Attune finds another shot. Storm arrows from the side. Edison trying to cut Bianca out of the mech. Not really going to be working out too well. Self-destruct is going to be used, and he manages to knock Ritz out of his own.
I mean, Yaki and Attune are just killing it right now. Yaki did so much consistent damage. He pointed out before, he didn't get the kills, but he did so much damage. And when you know there's no Brigitte on the other side in this meta, you can go back to the Tracer, which is Yaki's most famous hero ever. I mean, everyone remembers when he was able to dominate Taejun against Lunatic Kai when they did defeat Lunatic Kai back in Apex Season 3. It's his best hero. He's doing consistent damage, just weakening targets for Attune to get those final picks. And GC Busan just cannot scratch the surface here of this point B.
Up close and personal here for Yaki. Defense Matrix is going to help keep him alive. The pulse bomb still being held in the inventory. Doesn't feel the need to throw that one out yet. In the meantime, Attune, you can see he's just got full view pushing forward, and everybody from GC Busan has to play back towards the spawn. Attune even going even further up, cutting over to the left-hand side, as Yaki almost goes down, but manages to escape with his life.
I mean, they're just fighting so far forward because they can. The Genji pick here is not worth anything because they can't really find a way to get into the backline because they can't get onto the point. They want a Dragon Blade outside of point B. That's basically what the fight is being forced to do.
Going low, diving into the pocket is available there. Daydream helping to keep him alive. Would have been such a costly loss had he gone down there right before that Primal Rage became available.
GC Busan Wave is in some serious trouble here. Here's
Dragon
the blade.
Blade's going to be coming out. Alpha Yi dashing into the back, finds one there as Attune goes down, looking for another, but the Transcendence comes out from Undyne to keep himself alive. In the meantime, Daydream will fall, as does Edison. GC Busan going to be losing 3, a 2 for 3 here. To their disadvantages, Yaki still goes forward, looking to get the stagger here onto Fielder, but he'll go low. The Rockets out from Ritz, ripping him apart, but they still chase down. They still get the Zenyatta, and they buy more time.
It's just such a disjointed fight. We just saw GC Busan Wave. They were so desperate. They wanted to use the Dragon Blade, and they're running out of time. They're already 2 minutes behind, and just before that, about 2.5, 2:45, they were getting to that point, or sorry, 1:45, and now they switched to the Roadhog because the Genji wasn't working. They wanted to get value out of the blade. They couldn't do it. This is really dire straits right now, and Yaki just has full range now to pick them off before they can get onto the point. So much poke damage here as they get chunked down.
Pushes his way back, hook in on a Bianca, but he's going to be fine. Self-destruct comes out from Ritz, and he finds 2! The pharmacy comp's going to be dismantled, and that's going to be the go button here for GC Busan as they try to get onto the point. They still have not gotten a single ticket. There's just a minute left on the clock. Attune on the high ground, spamming away, but he's going to get taken down. Ritz finding that kill, denying the tire right as he gets to 99%, but they still need to get the cap. The point is not really advancing yet for the side of GC. Coalescence in from Fielder, trying to keep everybody alive with an answering Transcendence out from Undyne, now from the spawn. Riptire coming in, sending it all the way around to the back. They spot this one out, they get some damage in, but it's just tickling the members of GC. Not going to be finding any kills.
Okay, they're going to commit onto the high ground here, and they're going to dive back in. The respawns are here. Yaki even making this switch to the Doomfist. He gets picked off though, but it's buying enough time for MVP Space to stabilize. They have the faster respawns. GC Busan's in trouble.
Ion dead, Oberon will go down, but everybody else from Space is still in the fight, and Undyne nearly has another Transcendence to outlast a final push from GC, but they might not even make it in time. You can see how far forward MVP is pushing. They want to close this out here. They don't want to give them a chance to trigger that overtime. Jumping forward, looking for the seismic slam in on the fielder. Can't find it, gets the rocket punch in. Edison dead, no res available. Into the back goes Ritz, trying to delay this. Sound barrier in from Daydream. Overtime ticking down, they have to pile back through. Halfway to a single tick, self-destruct going to be invested. That Earth Shatter comes through, rocket punch in, finishes off Ritz, but the self-destruct knocks Bianca out, and the Dragon Strike finds two. Undyne Bianca both go down for the Meteor Strike, gets rid of Daydream. It's just going to be an exchange on the healers. Undyne comes back up, Primal Rage from Oberon, gets rid of Ion, Yaki dead. Edison finding the snipe, but now he's going to be cornered. The Discord Orb is in on him, and he's got nowhere to go. The healing from the Moira, trying to keep him sustained in the meantime. One tick, nearly grabbed by GC Busan, but it's still so far to go. You see how quickly that overtime meter is going to plummet if they step off of this for a second. Edison spamming up, trying to get another Dragon Strike to get the knockout onto the back there. Bianca going to go down, whole hog out from Alpha Yi.
Riptire.
Riptire going to be held attuned, waiting for the moment. They know exactly where it's at. It takes a smattering of damage, pushes it through, pops it, but not going to be finding any kills, and they're so close to get to this cap. Are you kidding me, GC Busan Wave? Are you going to be able to pull this off? Coalescence back in, Bianca in onto the point with Yaki attuned, Oberon. They all drop like flies, and I think they might just be able to grind away at this and get the cap. GC Busan pull it off.
They pull it off, but it's 3 minutes and 34 versus an overtime take. And they were able to use this slower composition, the Roadhog switch. It's again that sustained comp we saw them win the overtime push in, or the extra round push that we saw in Blizzard World with. But on this map and in this situation, it's time inefficient. The Genji push they were trying to use didn't work. They were just trying to force the blade. It failed, and they had to switch comps enough. When you have a massive, massive time bank, you can switch comps this many times. And this is kind of what would have happened had MVP Space failed with that combo with the Grab Surge and the Dragon Strike on their push, but it worked. They got the big kills, and they won the fight. GC Busan wasn't able to get consistent kills. They were only able to get them when the respawns came through, and they had that sustainability there in the end. But MVP Space put off a damn good defense despite the adversity, despite being down multiple years. They built up those Riptires, and the DPSs were really, really killing it. Yaki even on the Doomfist building the Meteor Strike and doing so much damage. So now it's a rough time, you know, if you're an MVP Space fan, because this is not going to be, and you know, it's not going to be ideal when you have to defend this here, or sorry, to push this through. When you have no time versus the massive time bank. Sorry, I'm losing my words here.
I got you.
A bit of a
surprising
situation.
It's a crazy fight.
Yeah.
It's a crazy fight. Wolf, you know what? I got one question. Are you not entertained?
I am entertained.
I certainly am. And here we go. MVP Space on the attack.
It's a long time to defend.
The single tick. GC Busan backs up against the wall. They pulled off that miracle take on point B, but can they get a repeat miracle, a bigger miracle? Seems like the answer might be no, because already Attune has claimed a life.
Yeah, he gets the kill into Edison.
Oh dear. Pushing up aggressive. Even point blank! Attune! My God, where have you been all this time?
We missed him
in Contenders Season 1, but he makes one hell of a return.
He certainly does. This may just be the last nail in the coffin for GC Busan Wave.
Has the high ground angle, looking for the healers, tag in onto the Mercy. Discord Orb comes through, but no one is threatening him right now. He'll kite back. Edison using the recall, gonna be in the rough spot. Has to dash back, but Attune finds another one, taking him out, putting the team on his back, and Yaki gets a pop out there onto Ritz. They're about halfway, ticking up at the moment here as GC Busan Wave has to get in onto the point. Primal Rage gonna be used by Ion, but the side angle here from Attune finds the kill in onto Ritz. The Reds will come down, but Daydream gets punished. You silly, silly Mercy. Pay for your sins. Go to the grave. Alpha Yi will fall. And it's just a matter of time. MVP Space looking to take the lead here in this series. 2-1 over GC Busan Wave as they clean up the final kills.
Man, Attune kills it. On the defense, he bought so much time there. And because they forced the overtime take, sure, they wanted to win the map there, and he almost did it. And then when it was the overtime take, 3 minutes and 34 to defend for GC Busan Wave, they lost it on the first push with the opening pick there. He's able to instantly kill the Widow right afterwards, knowing his positioning, tracking it, spatial awareness, and accuracy. This was the thing that we were most hyped about. This is what the Korean fans are most hyped about, is he gets the pat on the back from the MVP coach. This guy was a god at Soldier and McCree. Widow was much less meta when he was playing in Apex, but now that he plays the Widow, you know, it's a rough time for GC Busan when you've got to go against it on this map pick, where you have that extra space to work with on an attack. They got the high ground advantage early from that double opening kill that he set up. He gets the first kill and then the second right to follow onto the enemy Widow, and it's just lights out from there. You've got a Hanzo Widow on the high ground, tanks controlling the battle. The supports are just hiding, trying to help the tanks tag in so they don't get that tick. So as impressive as it was that in that longer fight, GC Busan was able to take it, at the end of the day, you know, when you have such a large time make and all you need is the one tick because of the overtime take, it always was going to be, even though it was a miraculous second chance they got, it was always going to be pretty much a fool's errand to try to defend that.
Yeah, I mean, that's... I'm trying to think if we've actually had somebody pull that off. I'm sure it's happened before.
Lunatic Kai has had some crazy holds back in the day.
Yeah, I just can't really think of what team it would have been and what tournament it would have been in, but I'm certain that it has happened. We've seen crazier things. I mean, I've seen, 7-point overtimes on, it was either Route 66 or Hollywood. I think it was, yeah, so we've seen some crazy stuff in the past.
Yeah, we certainly
between
have.
Apex and Contenders, but man, what a completion there from GC, but they cannot get the win in the end. Having no time in the bank, just really shafting them there on Volskaya. MVP takes the lead in this series, 2-1. Need this fourth and potentially final map to close out a victory in their first series of Season 2, but there's still that possibility that GC Busan Wave can tie up this series and force us to that fifth map tiebreaker on Achilios.
Well, with Edison playing almost exclusively the Hanzo, with some exceptions, obviously running the occasional Brigida, but mostly the Hanzo and the Tracer occasionally coming through. I made this argument before. I'm going to do it again. Rialto, I'm kind of feeling it.
Maybe, it's a young team. They're rookies. Maybe you have to throw that curveball to try to get this win, to get that tie, and then force your way back onto control.
This was actually a really cool moment by Yaki as well. I highly recommend, he wanted to switch off anyways, but I highly recommend as Brigida players, you remember that even though you're technically a support and you're kind of a tank, you can flank. You actually absolutely can get in the back line and flank. That was a really cool moment. This was the winning moment right there.
It's disgusting. Oh, let me just go res. He's like, okay, I know that the Mercy's there. And goodbye.
I mean, he's just killing everyone. The supports are just trying to keep the tanks on the point to contest. But absolutely fantastic. Let's take a look at his stats. I think that's what we might be doing here. Normally when we see this, we get to see the stats.
I hope to God, I want to see his crit accuracy on this Widowmaker.
Yeah, I hope we get to see a look at that.
Production, if you can hear me, if you're listening, please.
Usually when we have these shots, we get to see the stats right afterwards.
All right. Otherwise, I need somebody who's watching to go back and count every single shot and calculate how many of those were.
Looks like we're skipping it.
Dang it.
Well, let's see where GC Busan Wave wants to take us. This would put them at 1-1 historically if MVP Space is able to take this final map, because they did lose it against GC Busan. We had heard that GC Busan had been struggling in scrims, struggling to adapt to this new meta. It's not because of Edison's accuracy on the Hanzo, because it's been fantastic so far, but I think it's more of an issue of the coordination. And in terms of Widow play, Attune is definitely the better one. His hit scan is unparalleled in this series. So
absolutely,
it's been a close series. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you go to a map where Widow's powerful, it's going to be tough. Route 66 will be the choice.
It's our
first time in the tournament. This was a Sombra-dominated map in the past, and I think even in this meta we could see some Sombra. But it's going to be
possible.
It's going to be more Genji and then perhaps counter Brigida and some swaps that go on about that with the Hanzo and the Widowmaker.
Well, let's see how these guys want to play this out as we go into what could be the final map of the series. And here we are, Route 66. It's been a while, but paying another visit back.
Yeah, it was the map we saw a lot of really clutch EMPs, and overall, the Streets phase was dominated by Widow play on this map. Players like Climax, Ons really showed up to play. Godsby as well. This is one of his more famous Widow maps. So the Widow matchup is going to be really important here. To start things off, it looks like Alpha E wants to run the Genji with this, but this has been predicted by MVP Space, and they are going to be running Yaki on the Brigida to start, and it is going to be that triple tank Widow. So it works fantastically on the beginning of Route 66 because you have such a long line of sight in this area here, and you can control the high ground on big Earls. And it's so difficult to dive with Zario and the Brigida, giving even extra armor, the ability to stun the Genji. So we might even see GC Busan consider a switch.
Okay, Attune. He's going to fall down casually at a 9 HP, but gets a repeat there, takes out Edison. Good way to start things off. Oberon going to fall low. Let's see, fuels some energy over to Bianca on the Zarya. Pop up to the top, coming over. Doesn't quite
so
find the
close,
shot,
though.
but he almost had it. Almost killed Edison as quickly as he had respawned and exited the cafe, or the diner rather.
Well, they can't even really close the gap around this corner. They finally do. Alpha E is going to be trying to track Brigida non-stop because he needs to make sure that he does not get stunned when he comes in to go for dash. It's very difficult to dash even with the Brigida there, even trying to get the back dash onto the Reinhardt.
Edison's playing so far forward here.
Yeah.
Just right in, hovering behind the cart.
Playing as if he's
around the
Hanzo.
back. Looking for Undyne, and with the help of Fielder, will be able to take him down, but Ion will fall, so a healer for a tank. Significant delay onto that Primal Rage now as the Dragon Blade gets ready to come through. Alpha E falling low, dashes into the back. Shield comes through the bubbles there. Dragon Blade is only going to be finding the one kill there onto Yaki. He'll get taken down in the end by Undyne, but still going to be a lot of kills coming over for GC Busan as they keep this push rolling, and it seems like MVP might just have to abandon the defense here on point A.
Yeah, they don't have their ults to contest. I think they'll try it, they'll give it a shot, but I mean, they don't have a comp that's mobile. Like, they don't have a Winston to get back on this, so it might just simply happen before they can get on. Oberon barely makes it in time. Very close call here. Toon's going to pop the Infrasight, so they have vision advantage here. They want to get the res here onto Yaki if possible because he's about to have that armor, but it's just not going to be in time.
Yeah, Yaki and Fuse go down. That's all three supports now as Undyne will get taken out in the end. Edison coming around the corner, finds a quick flick there onto Attune, and MVP going to be suffering an extended team wipe. And now have to just go ahead and try to get set up for this street space.
He loves to just get out aggressively and try to get ahead of the punches here of MVP Space. He's trying to get headshots off and then move into a safer position, but he's always trying to trade up in terms of damage, and that's been working very well for him. It feels almost Hanzo-esque the way he's just standing in the front of doorways to try to get these picks. But yeah, the kill onto Yaki there before the Dragon Blade came out was super intelligent. So again, that's what you got to do as the Genji. If the Brigida goes down, then your blade can do the damage, and that's exactly what happened that led to that first take.
Now there's Shatter out from Oberon, looking for the picks here, but the Transcendent's going to come down now. Graviton Surge, grabbing them all together, but there's not going to be a Hanzo to couple with this. They're only going to be finding one kill there on the Daydream, and in the meantime, Edison wins that Widow duel against Attune. Infrasight going to come up, Oberon pushing forward, already at 75% for another Earth Shatter, so dangerously close to that, but a Dragon Blade comes out from Alpha Yi, finds the first slash, gets rid of that Reinhardt. In the meantime, Ion finishes off Undyne, so should be buying a lot of space here for GC Busan as they continue pushing forward.
Yeah, this Genji pick has worked really well despite the Brigida because Edison's able to find these angles and they're able to get these picks. Not only that, but the Graviton Surge was really just a pipe dream with nothing to pair with it there in that last fight. Sure, as you mentioned, Bianca got the one kill, but there was no Dragon Strike. It's a Widow solo DPS, basically, so the Zarya just doesn't really end up being too great there. It's not a fully charged Zarya, and they didn't have positional advantage. They have the high ground here, and Yaki is going to wait to collapse, but, I mean, it might be time to think about switching up the composition here for MVP Space.
And the Widow can be okay in the final stages of this point, but trying to get back into fending here just in front of point B as a Widowmaker is almost impossible. You're not really going to be able to get safely out. Edison jumping to the side, looking for a couple more shots, but it seems like MVP Space will be creating that room for Attune to be able to push out front. Rally going to get popped so everybody can get that permanent armor rolling through.
We didn't exactly see how that last fight took place because we were watching Edison, but we obviously the stun came through from Brigida. She built up the rally, so this is a huge turning point, right? They were about to get point B, now they have the armor, so this could actually buy them several more holds here. And they have this choke point control, very difficult to break through here as GC Busan Wave.
Yeah, and Oberon getting so much more ult charge there compared to Ion.
Look at this with the Brigida.
Didn't have that many people backing him up, or it's going to get knocked out of the mag. Stunning him up, and will fall as Attune finds that shot, so now MVP so much space to just go ahead and stay forward, pun not intended.
Yeah, notice how the Brigitte changes the way that you play around that choke. I mean, she can give you AoE heals, she stuns the D.Va, and allows Oberon with the extra healing he has to just build more ult charge in that choke point where you have the fanned out heroes and they have to go through one location, as you mentioned. Very well played here, using this Brigitte to full effect, still having the armor as well from that rally, halfway to another one.
That's going to be the self-destruct in, but the shield's up. For Yaki going to be staying alive. Oberon goes really deep in, fights his way back through. And the self-destruct from Bianca will be winding the mech there onto Ritz, so he'll be knocked out into that pilot form. There's not that many options for where he can jump off the map without pushing into enemy territory. So Yaki will be able to find that kill, and Ion goes down. So Busan losing both of their tanks with 50 seconds remaining. The cart has rolled back so much compared to where it was. A lot of damage in on the fielder, but not going to be forcing out that Transcendence yet.
This is a choke point advantage that MVP Space has through this doorway. So there's only really two angles of approach that GC Busan Wave can take. They can take the left side through the canyon or to the right side through this doorway. But it's so easy to control both as MVP Space here.
Oh, Alpha Yi will force out that Transcendence from Undyne. Otherwise, Dragon Blade not going to be finding a whole lot of anything. Primal Rage going to be used by Ion. Undyne comes wrapping around the backside, looking to take out the Widowmaker. Edison sprays him down, gets a shot in. Bit too aggressive there from the Zenyatta. Pays for that one. Now Yaki advancing forward, trying to get rid of Edison here. Not going to be able to do so. Drops in, looking for the shots onto the back with the Discord Orb. They will be able to take him down with that melee swing. And it's into overtime. MVP Space.
They may be able to contest. Like, it's because of the rollback, like you were mentioning earlier, there may be one opportunity where they can
They have
rally.
enough time. Bianca can buy space with the self-destruct.
He needs to get there in time, though. It's going to be close. Okay, here comes Oberon.
Ready to go. Dives in from the side. Primal Range nearly ready to go, but Fuse is going to get taken out at the start of the fight as Edison finds that headshot. Oberon going low, needs a Primal Range available now. Healing slowly coming through from the Brigitte, but he'll get taken down right as he gets the ultimate. Bianca still here, however. Rockets coming through, trying to get rid of Ion, but will not be able to finish him off. Attune and Undyne both go down. And if Bianca, honestly, maybe she just saved this self-destruct, not even invested here. It seems like that is going to be the play. Just falls. Completion onto point B for GC Busan Wave, but a massive time by MVP Space.
Yeah, well played. Yaki used the rally in that fight. I think that's the roughest part of this, because they would have loved to have it now to just build that armor up.
True.
But, you know, had the fight turned, had it been a little bit better for MVP Space, like if it was a little bit of a closer fight, that could have actually been the turning point. It's not usually ideal to use rally during a team fight, but in this case it made sense. But it's really unfortunate they don't have it now. But either way, as you say, they bought a lot of time. There's
a big window of opportunity here for GC Busan. The Dragon Blade is available, and Undyne is just halfway to that Transcendence. That's why he's going to go in. He's going to draw this one out, but he falls off the truck. Manages to get his way back up, but he gets stunned immediately, and Attune takes him down. He and Ion both going to be completely stomped out on that attempt, and now, yet again, MVP Space, you can see how far forward they're able to push up. Oberon, maybe just a bit too much, but does manage to find Edison. We'll take him out for that added stagger.
Noticing a pattern here, whenever we get to the end of points and when things get a little bit rough, GC Busan makes the switch to the sustain comp with the Lucio and the Roadhogs. We are going to see Ion also make that switch over to the Reinhardt. This is the way they want to try to finish this in a longer push. Probably going to be an overtime push with only 20 seconds on the clock. Worked for them on Volskaya. Let's see if it makes that same success happen here.
Well, that's going to be the Transcendence out from Fielder. Fuse going down. Edison in on the back. He's got a perfect angle here to just rip them apart. And you see that it's working phenomenally, even though he's not even offering that many shots. Gets the tag in onto Oberon, and now they can move his card forward yet again. Going to be an overtime. In for sight, ready to go. Crucially, they can see what swap-ups are going to be coming through from the MVP composition. Junkrat to start things. He still hasn't popped the ult. He's just holding it until the cart gets a bit closer.
Oh!
Takes him down, just heard him coming. Now pops the ult for a little bit more. Dive in, coming through from Oberon, forces him back. He'll go low, but gets healed up in the end, managing to stay alive. OT, take it away. They're off the cart, starts plummeting. They have to get back in there. Ion getting healed up, has the Earth Shatter ready to go. The self-destruct from Ritz manages to find Attune as he gets closer and closer to that Riptide. The lockdown in on the Fuse. He'll get taken out. Alpha Yi with a whole hog, finding the killing blow. Fire strike in, self-destruct up into the air. Bianca looking for something, but he's not gonna find anything. Pin comes in, pushes him down, knocks him to half HP, and the hammer keeps swinging through. He'll get taken out of the mech, and GC Busan Wave, I think yet again, at the end, managed to get a push, to get a finish on a map in overtime. but you have to think about where they started from, a massive time bank here on Route 66.
Yeah, it was rough. It was the point B hold that really burned through most of that bank because they, remember I mentioned they had to go to one of two choke points, either the canyon or the mine shaft, and both of those places are going to be a field day for the Brigida defense to have great success, especially against the Genji comp they were running, so could not break through. When we saw Alpha E make the switch to the Roadhog there in the end, they were able to just force through with all the healing they had from Lucio, plus take a breather for the self-heal from the Roadhog. So they came up and bought space for Edison to do the damage. They were already chunking down the tanks and winning that battle. So they kind of switched it up. The Junkrat was probably the right choice, but it just came obviously a little bit too late. The momentum was already taken from them with Edison getting that line of sight there. Once they came around the corner, once they had those tanks there, they were able to finish it. But still, yet again, we have to put the asterisk on this. As impressive as the slow tank push to end was here, it was once again done in overtime. So MVP Space still potentially could gain a time bank advantage on their attack now. And we're going to see Atune's Widow play a huge role in that, you have to imagine. And another thing I want to point out is the reliance, the heavy reliance of GC Busan Wave on Alpha E's Genji in a meta where Genji is a little bit tougher to execute. We're seeing a lot of Dragon Blades just get simply slapped down by these stuns coming out from Vegeta.
Yeah, it's when he first came in, when he was first subbed in after Oasis there on Blizzard World, he had some good ones, but I feel like it's kind of fallen off as we progress through this series. The Genji hasn't been that great. He's looking a bit more like a beta Yi. But we'll see. He's going to be running it again, it seems, on this defense. But he needs to pop off.
He certainly does. All right, well, it will be the double sniper push here for MVP Space. The classic. This is the most meta comp for outside of Rialto, almost every escort map right now.
Tune up over the top. You can see GC Busan is playing around these sidelines. They expect that Widowmaker to come through. First peek coming out.
Oh my God!
Right through the side, just under the E.
He can't see that silhouette you guys are watching, by the way. That was perfect game sense.
Yeah.
Perfect game sense right there.
Hits them square between the eyes. Quickly done, but Edison, he fires back. He's angered now. Found the pop out there onto Bianca's mech. Takes down Fuse. Undyne gonna die, and now gets some vengeance as he gets rid of Attune.
Great
GC
start
Busan
here.
Wave waking up.
Very great start here for GC Busan Wave, forcing a complete reset of MVP Space. The late respawn coming through for Bianca. They're going to make the switch to the Brigida to help deal with the Genji, which is really giving them some grief here, in fact. You know, we were talking about the Genji's rough to run into the Brigida, but it was Brigida-less. Now they're going to make that switch. That's one of the reasons why a lot of teams start the Genji to force a Brigida comp, then they counter it, usually with the Pharah. But line of sight advantage now to GC Busan Wave, and they force that switch. So it's really unfortunate now for MVP Space. They've lost so much time and the ult charge.
GC Busan looking to go the distance here, take us to our first 5-game set of the season. They so far execute a pretty good defense. Edison going to be taking that body tag, but it's in the headshot. We'll be able to finish him off. Dragon Blade going to be ready, dashing in, looking for the Mercy, takes him down. Should be able to get a tune as well. One more slash, we'll finish him off. Dashes through, kills Yaki, almost accidentally. And MVP Space are just getting shut down.
Total domination here now. Yaki unable to get the stun off because the positioning was mostly aerial here on the Genji, so just could not actually get in there to hit that shield bash. So Alpha E just has free damage. It's, you know, just simply put, if you're trying to kind of keep your members split and dive the Widow, I think MVP Space needs to stay a little bit more together. Running Yaki now on the Tracer for some extra mobility. No
res available, but Attune in a really rough spot. The grapple not going to connect. Manages to make it out. Discord Orb in onto Ion. Will get chunked out quite a bit as he exits with that Primal Rage up. Alpha E in the meantime will go down, as does Fielder, so no supports nearby. Oberon going to play up. Make sure they're not pushing in, and also keep closer to that ult.
Still, GC Busan Wave will be very happy with the time they're able to buy.
Oh, sure.
They can try to go for another contest here with the Transcendence they have.
Yeah, they start pushing out. They also have that self-destruct.
And the Infrasight.
Back MVP. Edison looking for the shot, takes down Attune. But he'll go ahead and get punished right off the bat. Oberon finishing him off. LB pushing forward, has that deflection up, self-destruct going in from Bianca. Ion going low, he finds two, both healers going down to the Diva Bomb. Cornered there is Ritz. Primal Rage pinning him to the wall, making it a very easy target for Yaki to just stick that bomb to. 3 minutes on the clock, MVP space, second lease on life is gained, but they still have to go all the way to the finish.
And it was a really, I feel like, it was a decent self-destruct, but it was really kind of, I feel like, some tunnel vision there on the side of GC Busan Wave to get, for it to have gotten that much value. And obviously we know Edison was hell-bent on killing Bianca while he was in pilot form for just a moment there. It did not happen. Looking for the kill, or the DMAC onto Bianca as they do set up position advantage again here. The Dragon Blade is going to be pulled now.
Discord Orb in, and Dragon Blade, as you say, going into the back side. I'm dying. Has that Transcendence ready to go in. Alpha E almost gets zapped to death. Pops back over the top, gets a little bit of healing from the Orb of Harmony. Yet again, trying to just get rid of that Zenyatta, and he does so extremely easily. Fuse as well, going dangerously low, as you can see at the top of the screen, but manages to stay alive at the moment. That passive regen helping to keep him alive.
They're trying to use their tanks to threaten Edison, but every time they do, Alpha E knows there's no peel for the supports and he punishes, and that's basically what we're seeing. Sure, they have the push going now, but that's something I do want to point out. We're seeing this pattern over and over again where, you know, Alpha EU knows when there's an opportunity. The Tracer he's now switched to is going to be very similar in that regard.
There you go, finds that headshot. Rez is going to come down immediately from Daydream, however, as well as the Valkyrie, just popping that one through. Shot on as the bubble comes down, he just weaves it right through.
He's just so god tier on this Widow.
Oh, disgusting, but as we say that, will die and Undyne.
Caster Curse.
Receiving the res here, but the self-destruct coming up from Bianca, gets rid of Daydream, and it is just going to be a wipe here. The killing fields for MVP spaces. They just take down GC Busan. Primal Rage available for Ion, but don't think he wants to go in by himself. Likely just going to be saving that for the final stretch. They finish with a minute and a half. Now 3 minutes on the clock.
Let's compare what MVP Space does here when it's tough to get line of sight for a tune, because this L-shaped corner they're going to have to go around. So he's already switching to the Hanzo. They're making the tank swap now. I was going to say, when you have to go around this kind of L-shaped bend here, it's tough to get that line of sight for a tune for him to pop off. So I was wondering how long they were going to stick with the Widow. They immediately switch. They're not going to spend any time on that. They want to end this series right now. Yaki sneaking around the backside.
I'll be able to push forward here. They did use that Primal Rage, so getting an ultimate out of GC Busan. But Alpha Yi back over onto the Roadhog. Oh, has to reload. That's a bit awkward. But still manages to get Bianca with the right clicks.
Intentional, totally planned out. He wanted to delay the
spawn. Extra stagger, you know? Just get those extra 2 seconds in.
Calculated. He knows exactly how many shots he has.
All right, now he's actually looking like a bit of an alpha now. He's on fire.
All right,
over halfway to that whole hog.
The Junkrat switch here means this is basically going back to old school Junkrat Hanzo pushes with the Reinhardt that we saw a lot of the time on King's Row. Very good for tank busting.
If he can if he can actually get the shots in.
Yeah, can break the Reinhardt shield very easily.
Self-destruct going in pretty deep. Look on the side, and that's going to be 2 healers yet again. Another self-destruct coming in, this time from Ritz. Gets rid of the Zenyatta and the Mercy, and MVP Space just have to reset. But Alpha, look how feisty he is.
Yeah, he really is flanking very well. And part of the reason why that self-destruct from Ritz was able to do so much is because he was threatening other members. When there's a Roadhog trying to pull you and harass you and break your Reinhardt shield, you have to keep a lot of things in mind. And when that self-destruct comes through, the communication could oftentimes be jarbled. Here comes a Dragon Strike. Kind of a blind one here to reposition them.
Still managed to find one, but it's going to be on the Daydream. In the meantime, Alpha E just going to shove them back with that whole hog. Oberon goes forward, has the Earth Shatter ready to go, but has to be careful for Ion's shield. The Fire Strike tag there in onto Ritz, can't find it. In the meantime, Edison has a great back angle alongside Alpha E, and they take down a tune.
Need to be careful not to
overextend. And now Undyne, they're just pushing from the side. MVP Space not prepared for this flank at all.
They certainly are not. He's getting so much value out of this. And MVP Space is just going to have to reset.
Yep. Bianca actually making it back into the mech.
The flank was really good there. It was risky, but it paid off. And MVP Space clearly didn't realize that he was able to sneak out there. And now MVP Space has one more realistic shot at this. So we're going to a Game 5 tiebreaker here. It's going to be the Valkyrie to maybe open it up to get Oberon into position for a shatter. But Alpha E is already flanking again. Attention split.
Coming in from the back. That's going to be the self-destruct coming through. Not going to find any picks here. MVP Space still have that Earth Shatter to work with. If they can get rid of Ion, going to be the sound barrier coming in, keeps him alive right at the last second as Alpha Yi just starts spamming away, gets rid of Oberon. The Earth Shatter doesn't do a damn thing, and I think we might be going to game 5 here, Wolf.
Looks like it.
MVP space. Going to be losing out on the both healers. Undyne just now respawning Bianca. He's off the payload. No one else really able to tag in. It's going to tick down, and GC Busan will go the distance. They barely get the completion here on Route 66, and now they force us to our first tiebreaker of the season.
And it was the tank duo that did everything for them. It was what gained them that final push in the slow sustain war. Daydream's Lucio coming through that sound barrier was what the last nail in the coffin. But what really worked was Ritz, coming through with these self-destructs while the flank is coming on the side there with the Alpha Yi Roadhog. So he's getting pulls, he's tossing out Whole Hog. So while the Whole Hog comes through, they toss out the self-destruct, and as MVP Space tries to move forward and get into position for line of sight, they're just too flustered. They're flanked by Edison on the Widow as well, and it's just time and time again, while they're running out of time, they're flustered, they're trying to push through with this comp. The Roadhog is catching them off guard, the Edison flank's catching them off guard. Really good communication under pressure for a rookie squad to be able to make decisions like this on the fly. I think it just goes back to what they've been practicing in scrims, what they've been training, because clearly there's a theme here. At the end of the day, pull out the Roadhog, have that sustained comp, bring the Lucio out for some more mobility, and they're just running circles around MVP Space. We saw it on attack when we were on Blizzard World. We saw it on defense there on the final push of Route 66. Not only that, but of course the overtime push we saw on Volskaya. This is a scary thing they've been able to utilize. It won't necessarily be very useful as we head into the tiebreaker on Oasis. So
I think it might be on Achilios.
We
had one sheet that said Oasis,
okay,
which was what it was before, but now we have another sheet that's saying Achilios, so I think we might have changed it here for Season 2. We'll find out when we get in there.
Yes.
Either way, we're going to be going back to Control, playing out that best of 3 to see who is going to be taking home the win in the series. Obviously, the points accrued isn't going to be much of anything for either of these teams. There's just not going to be much to gain, but you want that victory. If it comes down to tiebreakers in the standings, then you have that head-to-head victory.
Yeah, so I guess, I was told Oasis would be the tiebreaker map for the whole season. We had that graphic yesterday as well. But yeah, it is on our paper, Achilios, as a fixed map.
I think we might have changed it kind of near the last second. I think they decided, you know what, let's just mix it up a little bit.
But talking about both maps, I mean, I guess we're going to find out in a second, but talking about both maps, I think both maps are good for MVP Space.
Sure.
Yaki's Pharah, fantastic for Oasis, and then Attune's Widow for the Achilios. Like, you can't go wrong with either pick. It's a good map for Roadhog, I guess, on well, but like not really. You know, if you're really trying to run that on well, I guess you could make it happen with the Lucio as well. But
yeah, throw him in the hole.
Otherwise, I think both maps really do favor MVP Space.
I mean, if it is in fact Oasis, but I believe it's Achilios, then they already have that win.
Yeah.
One of the rounds that they won was 100-0, so clearly some dominance coming through from them. Yaki on the Pharah, of course, one of the biggest reasons why they're able to take that one away. So if it is Oasis, I'm sure they're going to be pretty relieved about that. But as I say that, it doesn't always mean that you're going to get a victory. We think back to O2 Ardian with their reverse sweep over Element Mystic. They had lost on Control, were able to win it in the end on Lidong Tower. But here we go, guys.
No subs as well. We're sticking with this one. God Sejong not coming back in. It's going to be Alpha Yi again in the booth. So this is for all the marbles. This gives you the W. Both teams will walk away with a +0 map score from this. The tiebreaker map does not count towards map score. It will just be the win or loss here. And it will be Achilios.
Yep. Okay.
So the map has been changed.
Aha!
That is fine.
So it'll be that way for the entire season.
I think actually it may be in the rules in this season that if the first map is Oasis, that it will go to another map. That might actually be the reason.
Possibly. We'll clarify that. We'll figure that one out.
I was told Oasis all season, but I guess we were wrong on that. Or someone
we'll figure
told me
that one out in between the end of this game and the start of the next series as we get ready to see Kongu Panthera and Metabellum. But here we go, guys. It all comes down to this first tiebreaker of the season. No more 4-0s.
Yep. Last time these two teams met, you know, it was a 3-1 for GC Busan Wave. MVP Space wants to make it a 1-1 historically here. This is the Widow map. This is Ruins. And Attune will start the Widow Edison's had his moments. We are going to have Yaki for disruption here on this Doomfist. It's going to be support Brigitte with Undyne, so she's going to be able to give extra armor to the Doomfist.
Already diving in pretty deep, but he's going to go low. Healing will come through as Yaki falls down to about 50. But manages to stay alive. Looking for another rocket punch. Goes in pretty deep. Seismic slam into the uppercut, but not going to be getting the finish. In the meantime, Alpha will be taken down, and Edison does as well as Oberon goes forward. So first cap. Look at he come through from MVP space.
Crushing win here for the dive. Absolutely dominant. Very one team fight here. Lucio allows them to have the speed boost to get there quickly. Then they have the support Brigitte to give the armor, as well as some extra CC and the AoE healing. So it all works out very well. It's a very damaging composition, as this gives Attune the opportunity to continue to do damage from afar. He now has line of sight advantage. And we are going to see Edison swap to match here, but no Widow on the side of GC Busan Wave.
Yeah, this is true. They don't have that one ready to go now. Yaki looking for another uppercut, not going to find it. In the meantime, Edison comes up with a kill there on the fuse, and Yaki will get taken down. Attune answers one as Ion falls, but Oberon traded out as well, so both Twists is going to go down. The rocket punch gets rid of Undyne, so a very fast flip coming through for GC Busan Wave. 35% is all that MVP could get.
Well, going to be a great opportunity for GC Busan now to grab this control of, I guess, kind of choke points. What we saw MVP Space do after the first wipe was overextend and look for a fight again. They didn't expect the Edison swap to the Doomfist. Cooldown management is key in the Doomfist versus Doomfist. We saw that a lot in Season 3 of Apex, and a little bit of Season 4. Cooldowns are all that matters, you know, in this matchup, so you got to make sure you manage them correctly.
Oh, well, Yaki going down. Rocket punch in, Bianca chunked out, Meteor Strike ready to go, looking for a target. He wants Bianca there, can't get back into the mech. Self-destruct finds Daydream, but he'll get stopped out as he tries to get back in. And man, Edison is just destroying another rocket punch as he looks for Oberon. One final little shot there into the hind quarters of the Winston will take him down.
When you control the point and it's Doomfist versus Doomfist, the enemy Doomfist to try to attack the point has to use his abilities first. If he does not get kills, if he does not hit them, you have the advantage. You have positional advantage and you have your cooldowns,
Yaki's
right?
just like, screw this, I'm just not gonna play this game.
Yeah, I think it's wise to actually move away from the Doomfist when you're on the attack versus the defensive setup. You're gonna have a lot more trouble. Alpi's holding a Dragon Blade here as well. He's gonna pull it.
He draws that one out, finds Undyne in the back, takes him out, follows up for Fuse. Oberon falling as Edison finds the kill. And MVP Space struggling right in front of the finish line, 80% to 35. They need a flip and they need it right now. You can see they're still not sure what to do. Undyne now going to be swapping over to the Brigitte.
They're beating MVP Space at their own game. They started with the attack Doomfist, they switch it, they beat them out at it, and MVP Space not playing to their strengths, not playing to Attune's Widow we were talking about here because they ran the Doomfist, and now they're hurting, and they're hurting bad.
Yep, Edison playing so far forward. He's got shields, he's got armor, now he's got a sound barrier. This guy is indestructible, barely misses the rocket punch, but I don't think it even matters. Oberon doesn't have a primal range. He is just mincemeat right now. Will go down in the end. A Meteor Strike coming through, yet again looking for Bianca. Not gonna find it this time, and the barrage comes in from Yaki, but he just can't get anybody really. No one stands still long enough for the barrage to kill them. Attune does show up here with this Tracer, comes up with a 3K and helps get the flip.
They get the flip, and they have a decent, amount of percentage as well. This is not a 0 to 99, so this becomes a little bit more stressful for GC Busan. They will keep Edison on the Doomfist. Okay, they were. They're going to put him on the Tracer now. This makes a little bit more sense because, again, the attacking Doomfist onto the point becomes a little bit more difficult. Fielder's about to have that rally, so very likely they'll pre-rally before entering the point. Don't want to be greedy, though, before that.
All right, Attune. Looks like he's feeling thirsty here. Ion nearly going down from that pulse bomb. Can't quite finish him off, and they don't force the primal range either. VP, a couple ultimates on the way. Valkyrie going to be ready to go. Dragon Blade out from Alpha Yi, looking for the swipe, but he can't finish off Yaki. He hits the ground, cannot dismantle that Pharmacy comp. Fuse takes to the sky. Valkyrie running for him. Oberon with the primal range, goes for it as Attune takes down Fielder, but Edison will be able to trade back there onto the enemy Tracer, but it's still going to be MVP coming up with the majority of the kills here.
Fielder switching to the Zenyatta. Desperation as the tables are turned here. Really cool plays by Alpha E. I mean, he had the armor on him. Really good coordination. He got the armor from Fielder, then got the health pack, but still just wasn't able to get the killing blows there. And There's just not much room to switch otherwise in this comp. Pulse bomb to start, but not going to be the kill. They get control of the point, but they're losing the fight.
But Fielder goes down. They're trying to get this flip. It's 99-99 either way. Yaki going low, pops the barrage. Not sure why you would do it, but honestly, it might have been too late anyway. Daydream throwing down the sound barrier. Undyne going low, the only healer left alive, and he's still just 20% away from that sound barrier, but Alpha E will cut him down. Fuse trying to come back in with a Moira, trying to delay even further. It's a 2v2, a 3v2 here onto the point. And they do not want to surrender this flip, but Edison is just shredding right through the mech. Bianca gonna fall. They get the flip here as the overtime goes back over. Edison with a pulse bomb ready to go. Comes up with another one in there as a tune goes down. Pulse bomb in. Doesn't find anything for it, but Yaki will just die. Dragon Blade out from Alpha E as they zone them back. Overtime bar, love it. And that's gonna be Ruins taken here by GC Busan.
What a series this has become. I mean, left and right swaps back and forth. And it was a concerning moment for MVP Space there, where it was concerning for GC Busan when MVP Space actually was able to retake there after losing several Doomfist trades. It was worrying, you know, are they going to just be able to do this after they've retaken it? We've lost momentum. Our Dragon Blade didn't really work out. We've committed a lot of resources, but Edison just comes back on the Tracer, does consistent damage, and is able to flip it. It feels like a story of DPS versus DPS here. Both Edison Alpha E versus Attune and Yaki have had varying levels of success, but when they pop off, that's what wins these fights. That's what wins these scrappy engagements. And Attune, you know, moving away from his strengths there off of the Widow on the best Widow map here. It's rough. This is the one you would have assumed with Attune they win no matter what. And now they're down on Lighthouse. This is going to be the Widow Pharah they run here. Comfort picks for Yaki and Attune. If they don't get control of the Lighthouse, though, they might have to consider some swaps.
Edison looking for the shot there, nearly finds Fuse, but can't get the connection. Oberon goes up onto the high ground, has that Discord Orb in. Edison taking shots from the rockets here. Yaki laying down some fire, but cannot get the finish onto the enemy Widow. But MVP Space looking like they're going to be able to get this first lockdown onto the point as that cap starts coming in. Attune gets rid of the enemy Widow. Edison going to be res back in by Daydream, but MVP does gain control yet again for the first time. Attune in onto the point, tagging up the backside of Alpha Yi, but cannot get the finish.
This is the strongest part when you have the Pharah Widow in a Widow meta. It's so difficult for Edison to get a line of sight. As you see, he's killed by Yaki. He can't deal with the Pharah and the enemy Widow at the same time. So this means that when they're trying to go through these choke points, these doorways, come out to where the Lighthouse is, where you can get an open angle, he's just eating pot shots from Yaki, and the tanks can trade with him. So if he shows his face, he's in trouble. So therefore, you know, he's just not able to do a whole lot. Attune's holding this infra site for a better time. He actually does pull it out in the end, as they do take a different approach angle, which is super smart. Now he sees the taking the right side approach.
Yeah, Bianca gonna go low. Discord Orb coming in, but Fuse is there, just holding down that left lane, keeping him alive, and Edison wins the Widow battle this time out as Attune will fall. Self-destruct from Bianca, not gonna find anything, makes it back into the mech. The pulse bomb comes down, pocket healing still available, and Undyne comes up with the kill there onto Alpha Yi, taking him out, and Oberon follows up onto Edison. No healers available, 55% here, nearly the flip, kind of a back cap almost comes in for GC Busan Wave, but they cannot get it. MVP Space maintains control, they're up over 60%.
They got the opening picks, but they got greedy. They tried to parlay those opening picks into an early cap, and their team got a little bit disjointed in that moment. They were never able to deal with Yaki, so he was the one who cleaned everything up there with the help of his supports when they decided to try to say, okay, we're going to take this with a 50% cap, not a 70.
Oh boy. Barrage down there from Yaki. Finding Edison, he's gonna go low. Fielder looking for the kill, not gonna find it.
Fuse has been such a great support here for both Yaki and Oberon, juggling between the two of them. When they dive, when Oberon dives in, he has to go there, but then Yaki gets low, he has to, you know, jump back and pocket the Pharah. He's been able to kind of ping pong between the two very well to keep them healed up.
Chasing all the way into the back here. Edison gonna go low. The final rocket takes him out. Another 99-0 perhaps here for MVP Space. Who's in the second round on Oasis is looking to replicate it here, but now GC Busan Wave push forward. They have that Transcendence ready to go, and they will be able to get this flip.
Daydream with the boop on the pilot Diva. Not going to be that consequential, but got the other boop kill as well there. While they did gatekeep Edison from coming out of spawn, they were out of position to deal with basically a 5v4 fight over on the side of the Lighthouse itself. But this is still a huge win for MVP Space. They don't get the 100-0. That was very close to happening, but they have the ability to now build ultimates. They know Alpha E is running this Genji still. They're going to make Undyne switch over to this Brigitte. She becomes support Brigitte. She can armor Attune here in the sky. So Yaki's on the Tracer. Kind of an odd switch for hero pools, but it makes sense here.
Over on forward, but already getting shredded down, trying to jump back to safety. In the meantime, Attune here on Farah does manage to get rid of Alpha Yi. MVP Space are in onto the point, nearly having that flip ready to go. They're going to get it, actually. Now we're into overtime. GC Busan Wave needs to turn this one around, but they lose Daydream right off the bat. Now Ion Rich going to fall. No tanks available. I think we're going to do it. Well, we've already made it to the 5th and final map, and can we make it to the 3rd and final round? The answer is going to be yes. MVP Space tied things up, and it's all going to be decided on well.
That it is. Very, very close series, an exciting one at that. And the cool thing that we saw in this map for MVP Space is they made a tough swap. It was a 100-0 they looked for, but they actually made a really unusual hero pool choice. They put Undyne on the Brigitte. She can give long-range armor to Attune in this moment on the Farah, which is kind of a cool thing Brigitte could do, as well as burst heal the Farah back to full health if, she's losing the battle, losing the trades. But Attune played the Farah instead of Yaki, which means that, and he played it well, which means the flexibility they have means they can run Farah Tracer in the time of old. Yaki's the better Tracer. Attune may be the weaker Farah. In the past, MVP Space couldn't run Farah Tracer because Yaki played both, and so we had occasionally one fact on it, which was weak. But Attune looks to be really good, so that's actually showing a little bit of extra depth here for MVP Space we did not have last season. Down to the last wire here, we are going to see the Roadhog on well. It is happening, it's real. The Lucio, they're going back to this comfort pick where they close maps out. If history repeats itself, they may just simply be able to do it again.
Yeah, and Alpha Yi, this has been his best pick so far.
Yeah.
Other than a couple of those pop-off moments with the Genji, the Roadhog has been very consistent from him. But coming in, finds it on the fuse, and they manage to get the kill with the Fire Strike.
It's already a great start here. Attune still controls the skies, but they're going to need more damage here to finish off the Roadhog. This is such a sustainable comp with the Moira as well. It's so difficult to kill Roadhog, and he's always threatening picks. They will get the first cap, as Attune's nearing that ultimate here. He's at 75%, but will he ever be able to get an angle? Oh my god, not if he's dead. And Edison
has an angle.
The double.
He's got a great angle.
Stops
Undyne
the res.
just sitting there.
Oh man, this is looking disastrous now.
Oh boy, they're going to push him all the way back to the spawn. Edison looking for a bit more, has the infosight just about ready to go.
This is actually reasonable as well for them to push forward like this because they're running this triple tank comp that has so much healing. And it means that Attune's going to really struggle to get headshots here and even get out of the spawn.
They have a Coalescence ready to go as well. So oh my god! Edison puts another one on the board!
And another one!
Oh my god, Oberon dead, Undyne dead, MVP Space can't make it out of the dropship.
This comp works so well at containing them into the dropship. It gives free line of sight to Edison. Nothing against Attune here on the Widow. I think he's the better Widow overall, but it doesn't matter when the enemy's basically cheating. Yaki's got a recall. Looks for him.
Dashes away, dodges out of that line of sight, but this is 60% just about the zero here. MVP Space. This is it. It all comes down to this.
They're going to have to maybe try to flank. They're going all in here. Oberon dashing through. Attune gets the boop off onto Alpha, so this is their opportunity. They've got to make this happen, or they're out of luck.
Fall. It's going to be Attune taking a shot, but he can't get the follow-up kill. Now looking for the Mercy. Fuse in a rough spot. Double tap to the skull. Edison takes him out. He finds Attune. Edison, are you kidding me?
Godlike on this Widow, when they have positional advantage, he is not going to miss. When everything's on the line, this rookie.
Bianca taken out of the mech. They managed to find Daydream, but that's about it. Attune still so far from a Mirage, getting tagged into the back yet again. And Edison, he's out for blood, pushing forward, looking for more. Can he get Fuse? Body shot comes through, doesn't have the finish, but one more tap will do it with a follow-up from Rich. They take him down. It's 99. We're into OT. Oberon goes into the Primal Rage. He gets shredded down. Yaki comes into the backside, gets rid of Edison, but GC are just stomping him out. OT taken away. It doesn't matter. GC, they're on a train to Busan because everybody else around him is dead. MVP Space gets stomped out. Edison puts the team on his back. carries them the victory. They pick up the win in their debut game.
We have to give utmost credit to Alpha Yi as well and this composition that got them the overtime pushes, got them the hold on Route 66 to bring them here. The non-meta Roadhog, we didn't see it practically at all yesterday. It comes out here for this squad. It's a comfort pick, but fans are crying. They're so happy here for the GC Busan squad. They're able to make it happen, but it's Edison who hits the shots. This was made possible because of the tank comp that won them the point. Then they were able to gatekeep them into spawn. We have to remember that as much as Edison popped off, it was easy for him because he had free line of sight, but he just did not miss. A rookie player in his first televised match here, his first time in front of the crowd, on their most tense moment, the final map, the final point on the well, he's able to hit the headshots and carry the team, as you say. They gave him the opportunity. They set the ball, and he spiked it. Just headshot after headshot here. And even though Atune won out the matchup most of the night, when the team gave him the opportunity, gave him that line of sight advantage, he blew up. It was DPSs on both sides, I think, that were really the killers in this series. But what a series it was. And as close as MVP Space was to making this a 1-1 historically for these guys, GC Busan does it again. They beat them in trials in their final match, both teams' final match. And they do it once more here in their opening of the group.
Absolutely insane. Wonderfully done by this rookie squad. MVP Space. Like we said at the beginning of the broadcast, a lot of analysts were saying that it was going to be MVP coming up with the victory here today, but to no avail. They can't do it.
Does not happen.
GC Busan just too strong. Edison with that Widowmaker in the 11th hour comes up with the win almost single-handedly. I say that, but of course not. As you mentioned, the tank line and everything like that, just creating space for him, so instrumental. But my God, the accuracy! Can we please finally have a Widowmaker stat space today?
I mean,
I really want to see it.
The other things we have to mention about Edison is insane kills when we had Oasis when he was playing the Hanzo.
Yeah, his Hanzo started off great as well.
Yeah, shutting Yaki down. There's so many points where like they were losing the fight, and then he got a triple kill by himself on the Hanzo. So the guy is definitely, I think, the best player on the team. But the strategies they chose to empower him makes this team look fearsome, because if you have the mechanical skill, the raw skill of these rookie players already looks this good, and then you couple it with good strategy that empowers them, that's what makes a terrifying team. It's not just the mechanics, and it's not just the strategy. That's when you put the two together, and this rookie player in his opening match is able to make those headshots happen, because if he whiffs a few of them, MVP Space comes back in, they regain control of the point, and then it's a whole other game. But if he could just gatekeep that well, the star sense we saw of this guy, it's just something that I'm looking forward to seeing more of this season. It reminds me of Climax, you know, when he came out and ironically destroyed MVP Space on his first match as well.